Welcome to the Virtual Manager podcast. My name's Anna Russell. I'm an artist manager and founder of The Virtual Manager. Throughout my career, I've developed and managed several music artists from new unsigned acts right through to globally successful ones. This podcast is for all unmanaged or independent music artists who want to start, build, or grow a successful, sustainable music career. In today's episode of the Virtual Manager podcast, I'm going to be sharing with you a checklist of promotional activities you should be taking on release day, whether that's an official single, EP, or album. Now, many artists tell me that they find the day they release music to be a bit of an anticlimax. That's maybe partly because they're not doing quite as much as they could do, so that release day feels like more of an event, both for themselves and for their fans. Although I do want to set your expectations correctly. Release day is not some magical day where suddenly all eyes and ears are on your music and your career tangibly moves up a notch, as you're about to hear. But it could also be partly because they view the day their new single, EP, or album is released as the end of the campaign, when really it's just the beginning. It's understandable why artists can feel this way, as in the past, music release campaigns did used to run this way. An artist would spend approximately 3 months promoting a release before its release. This meant that the majority of press activity and radio play would happen pre-release, building up anticipation amongst fans so that on release day, everyone would rush out and hopefully buy the single, EP, or album, leading to a coveted chart placement. However, a lot has changed since then with the advent of streaming. Music became digital, as did much of the press, and new music promotion platforms emerged. Chart places are no longer the only or most important marker of a release's success, and there's now a lot more focus on streaming numbers, as you know. Streaming also changed consumer behaviour, and it began to make more sense not to get press or radio play for a release until people could actually go and listen, stream, download, or buy it right away, with the exception of perhaps a couple of key premieres or placements. Therefore, it's important that you view release day as just the very beginning of your promotional campaign. In many ways, it's day one, not the end of the campaign. This also means that you want to really lean in on release day, not lean back or suddenly become complacent because you've done all of the preparation and the planning and now you're exhausted. The months, weeks, and days leading up to the release will largely be planning and preparation. The time post-release will largely be spent on promotion. You need equal energy for both, so please do pace yourself accordingly. While most promotion of your release will be focused from release day onwards, there are, however, some very important promotional things you do want to action before the release. And I'm going to run through those now just so that you're aware. So the first thing is that you want to set up and promote a pre-save on Spotify or a pre-order for online stores for your release, meaning that people can go out and pre-order it or pre-save it ahead of it actually coming out, which has a similar sort of impact to the way that we used to promote. It's so that there's that kind of first day or first week rush of sales and streaming numbers, which would obviously affect your chart placement if that's something that you're interested in. It also has a positive impact on things like Spotify algorithms. So this is something that I do recommend doing. Now, how long before the release date that you start promoting your pre-save or pre-order can be debatable, but you want to ideally action this at least a couple of weeks in advance. If you're offering physical copies of your music, you also want to make sure that there is a pre-order set up for fans to go and get these from your website. The next thing you want to be doing pre-release is encouraging your fans and followers to follow you on Spotify ahead of release day for the same reasons that we've just mentioned. You may want to even provide an incentive for them to do so, such as a free download, which could be an exclusive track pre-release just to kind of tease fans, and again, build up a bit of anticipation around the forthcoming single or EP or album. You can do this using a tool such as show.co or HypeEdit, which will allow you to set up a really easy landing page for people to download an exclusive or bonus track and therefore become followers of you on Spotify. Again, that's something that's then going to help the algorithm and drive up listens and kind of visibility for the single on release day. You want to make sure that you are submitting a song for Spotify's editorial playlists for your single, or one song from your EP or album if it's these that you are releasing. This has to be done at least 7 days in advance of your release date to qualify for Spotify's algorithmic playlists as well. That's those that are personalized for your Spotify followers. The more of these that are added, the better. So make sure that you do go onto your Spotify for Artists account and submit or pitch your song or one song from the release to Spotify's editorial playlists at least 7 days in advance. I tend to do it much more in advance just to be on the safe side. If you are targeting any traditional music press or blogs or playlists online, make sure that you also service this in advance of the release as well, whether that's a few days or a few weeks. Once upon a time, I would have included a premiere for your release with a music website, a blog, or a radio show as something that you do in advance of your release day. And whilst in some cases these can still be relevant, they are generally not widely offered anymore. So with these pre-release promotional activities out the way, it's time to think about release day itself. Here are 10 actions that you can take to effectively promote your music on release days. So to start, the day before release, or the night of release as it were, remind your fans and followers on social media that the song will be out at midnight that night, because this is when your release will go live on all streaming platforms and online stores if you've scheduled the release date at the time of uploading the release with your distributor. And remember that this will happen in local time for each territory that you're releasing the music in. Then at midnight, something that I would recommend is jumping on a live stream on one of your social media platforms to let everyone know personally that the song is now out. Or if you want, instead, pre-record a video message of you letting fans know that the song is out now and then schedule it to go live at midnight. Whilst everybody might not be up then, it does mean that they will see it within the 24 hours of your release day. Or you might want to do a live stream performance of the song itself on release day across your social media platforms. That's another great way of just getting a little bit of additional promo for the song at the time of release. Next, you want to ensure that the link to stream or buy the release has been added to all of the biographies or URL spaces on your social media profiles and also to your artist website. You can also share the release from Spotify to your Instagram stories if that's something that you've set up with your distributor. Most of them offer this, and you can do that directly from the Spotify app on your own. Next, ensure the link to stream or buy your release has been added to all of the biogs on your social media profiles and your artist website so that it's up to date and nobody's going to go and try to stream or buy it and find a broken link or that the link just isn't there. You can also share the release from Spotify to your Instagram stories, which is something that most distributors allow you to use as a feature. And you can do that directly from the Spotify app on your phone. You might also want to find a way to make sure that you can share the release from various other apps across your social media so that fans know they've got a choice of where they can go and stream or buy the release. Next, I really like it when artists post an audio-visual teaser of the release artwork, say with a clip of the audio, so that they can actually hear what the release is. They can hear what it is they're missing. This works really well to incentivize people to go and listen to the song or go and listen to the EP or album in full. And you can do the same thing using a clip of your music video if you're releasing one the same day. Once you've got this announcement post, this out now post where people can hear a little clip of the song or see a little clip of the video or see the artwork, one thing I would advise on release day is on Facebook, actually going and boosting that announcement post, that out now post, to ensure that all of the people that follow you on Facebook see it. Basically, it just increases the visibility of the post. Or you might even want to create a Facebook or Instagram advert using this post, which will hopefully drive more people to go to the stream or the buy link. On the day of release, you also want to update the profile picture or the banners or cover art on your social media to be that of the release artwork, perhaps with a simple message saying "out now." Again, it just brings a little bit more visibility to the release on the day itself. A truly important step on release day is to send an email out to your mailing list with a link to all the places that they can stream or buy the song. Now, I want you to do this whether there are 20 people on your mailing list or 20,000 people on your mailing list. Most listens and buys and streams will come from those that are your most loyal fans, and that's usually those that are your subscribers. So make sure that you send an email out to them early in the day on release day, and so that they can go and get it. This is something that you should draft up and schedule ahead of your release date so that you know that it's all ready to go on release day itself. That will save you a job on the day. You then also want to send an email to all previous industry or music press or music radio personnel who have supported your music previously, letting them know that you have a new single out and providing them with the link to listen and download it. You never know. They may decide on the day just to post about it or share it if there's somebody that's already a supporter of yours. A great thing to do on release day is to also share fans' responses to the release in real time across your social media. So if you notice that fans or friends have been posting about it or tagging you in posts on their social media, whatever platform they're on, make sure that you share, you repost, you retweet these. Social proof goes a really long way. Likewise, you may want to share any positive press, reviews, or features that come out initially at the time of release. So whether that's on release day itself or the few days afterwards, make sure that you are sharing those on real time around the time of the release. You want to make sure that you are thanking all of those press and media and radio supporters who have done so as well. And this is something that you should be continuing throughout the promotional period for the release. So anytime any press or media or radio share or play or support your single, thank them and then share it with your fans and followers that it has been played there. Release day is also the day when you should begin your radio promo campaign. So what we have in radio now is something called on air, on sale, which basically means that if a song is being played on radio, it should already be available for people to stream or to buy so that people who've heard it on the radio can go straight away and do so. That is beneficial both to yourselves and to the radio stations that are playing it. So what we have now in radio is we have release day, which is obviously the date where you release the music. And then the labels have something that they call impact date, which is roughly around sort of 2 to 3 months after the actual release day, and it's the date when they expect your song to get most traction at radio, basically. So your radio promotion campaign does not need to begin until release day itself. So this is the day when you want to start directly contacting or submitting for radio play, whether you're doing that yourself or whether you're using a radio plugger or radio promo company. Now, whilst all radio play is great as an independent artist, ideally you want the radio play to be when people can go and stream and buy the song right away. The only exception to this is for those of you that are listening in the UK and you're planning on submitting your release to BBC Introducing, please do this several weeks in advance of your release date because they often need time to listen and decide when they're going to play and then schedule that play. So let them know on your submission what the song's release date is. Next thing to do on release day is begin your TikTok campaign. Release day is the perfect time to start posting video content using a short clip of the song you've just released on this app. Or given TikTok's recent troubles, maybe you'll be using rival Triller instead. Either way, this is a great way of getting new eyes and ears on your music. And finally, taking a leaf out of Joshua Grant's book from last week's episode of the podcast, and also the band Dreamwife, who did something similar with their latest album, So When You Gonna. If you have a goal that you are trying to reach with your release, in those artist cases, both of them had a goal to place their releases at a certain number in the official charts. Share this with your fans and followers on release day. Let them know what your goal is and then also chart your progress as you move closer to that goal on social media, in real time. This creates a snowball effect amongst fans and listeners and may just help you achieve that goal that little bit quicker. In the examples of the artists I just gave, Joshua Grant hit his goal of reaching number 1 in the official singles chart for Scotland, and Dreamwife hit their goal of getting a top 20 album. They charted at number 18. So there you have it, a checklist of 10 promotional activities that you should be taking on release day. I should say it's not necessary to action all of these on release day, although there would be nothing wrong with doing so if you staggered them throughout the day and across your online presence. But this is an ideal list meant to help you decide which of these you'd like to try and which are most relevant to your artist project. So I ask you, which of these will appeal best to your fan base demographic? Select the ones which you feel will best suit your needs and then make sure that you have a plan to execute them on your release day. Remember that any of these activities which require assets or content to be created will need to be prepared in advance so they're ready to be actioned on the day itself. However, this is also in no way an exhaustive list. There is a lot more promotion that can be done using a wide range of content for a music release across various different platforms for you as an artist. However, this is also in no way an exhaustive list. There is a lot more promotion that can be done throughout a release using a wide range of content across a wide variety of platforms. But these are just those that I would either do or begin doing on release day itself. If you would like an exhaustive list of promotional activities that you can do before, on, and after a music release, you'll find a release promotion checklist for you to use for every release you do in the Virtual Manager membership now. Check it out at thevirtualmanager.co.uk. Before we reach the end of this episode of the Virtual Manager podcast, I would love to hear from you. Which other activities do you do on release days? Or which of the activities that we've discussed today have you actioned and worked really well for you on your release days? Let me know over on the AR Artist Management socials. In the meantime, I will be back next week with another episode of the Virtual Manager podcast. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Virtual Manager podcast. If you found it useful, I invite you to check out the Virtual Manager membership site, an essential resource for independent artists who want to start, build, or grow a successful, sustainable music career. Everything you hear about on this podcast, we show you how to do in there. With monthly music industry training, a library of tools and resources for you to use, A&R feedback on your music, access to live Q&As with me, plus an active, supportive community of like-minded artists, the Virtual Manager is the perfect place to be for any unmanaged or independent music artist. Check it out now at thevirtualmanager.co.uk. Finally, please take a minute to review and subscribe to this podcast. It helps more independent music artists to find us.